Hey guys, God bless. I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. Um, Many reasons. Nothing too concerning, but just pray that you all are doing well. I pray this blesses you and gives you a little bit more understanding. It's kind of a continuation from what I've done in the past with, I think, the Helpmate videos, the Oracle video. There's several other ones that come to mind that you should probably watch first before this one. And of course, you always say that, you don't know if people are or not, but I think it's definitely going to be beneficial if you look at least the Oracle video before watching this one. But I pray you guys are doing well, and thank you for coming back and watching this. This came to me as I was reading Song of Songs a few days ago, probably about a week ago. The Lord really pressed it upon my heart to look at that. I really haven't been in the Bible as much as I should. I've kind of let some other things consume me. Some of them are jobs for the Lord, and I kind of got away from my original focus, which is Him. And when I came back to Him and kind of tightened up what I was doing and looking at how I was walking with Him, I realized that I'd let the job become more important than Him, and so that's just a lesson that I had to go through. And as soon as I came back and started reading and spending time with Him, this came to mind. So anyway, so the kingdom of God is like a hidden treasure in a field. When a man finds it, he will sell all he has to buy the field. This is Jesus Christ. Okay, the hidden treasure is the bride of Christ. The Lord did give up everything. He emptied Himself out on the cross. He sold all that He was and had to be on that cross to purchase the field, which is the earth. Okay, that's the mindset you need. Hidden is a very important word in this study, and treasure. Okay, so the hidden treasure is the bride of Christ, and the Bible talks about the bride being treasure in several different places, and also the word hidden is associated with some other things. The spies of Jericho, so certainly are, the hidden spies. Certainly comes back to that as well, and we'll explore that in a little bit. But this is if I had a verse that was like sort of the catchphrase for this study, it would be this one here. Okay, and everything's going to kind of revolve around that. So the field is the earth, the treasure is the wife. Proverbs 31:10 says, "An excellent wife who can find, she is far more precious than jewels." So Proverbs gives us a hint that precious jewels and treasure are kind of coinciding, or at least have some similarities that we need to pay attention to. So just as we said, Jesus came to the field, the earth, and through His shed blood, He bought the field. The field is the followers, and we are the living stones. Okay? The living stones. Jewels, stones, bride of Christ, treasure. Okay? Who make up the city Zion, which this is revealed in Revelation 21:11, is compared to the bride adorned with jewels coming from heaven. Okay? So again, here's our bride, here's our treasure, our jewels, and living stones. She also has the light of the sun, just as in Revelation 12, she is clothed with the sun. So all these parallels and all these similarities are important to catch note of, okay, and to have understanding of, and to understand that they're kind of all encompassing the same thing here, okay. Right now, these stones are hidden until the time comes for Him to manifest His kingdom on earth. Okay, so the word hidden ties to many different passages in the Bible for you to gain understanding. The spies of Jericho were hidden. Adam and Eve went and hid themselves in the garden. Okay, the arrows in Isaiah 49:1-3 are polished and hidden away. Moses was hidden from Pharaoh, from his mother in Exodus 2:2. David hid in the field in 1 Samuel 14 and 20:14. So all these hidden, and even Jesus, I think He talks about in Matthew where He went and hid from the disciples. So there's all kinds of references as to what we should be looking for. This all keys us into this hidden aspect, this hidden treasure in the field. David also beloved. All right, he was God's beloved, hid himself in the field. So all this comes to a circle of understanding. Okay, so in the book of Job, of course, Job's going under many trials, and he speaks not only about his birth, but also his birth as a man child. Again, a Revelation 12 reference. Man child being a reward of some sort. Okay, some people consider it the transformation. I think it means and encompasses much more than that. Okay, here Job mentions how he curses the day he was born and how his mother brought forth a man child. Let it be a day of darkness, a day the Lord does not regard. Okay, so God absent from that day. He continues, let the clouds and blackness seize it. Let it not be joined to the rest of the days of the year. And I thought that was kind of like an outside of time reference. Okay, so we have this, let it not be joined with the rest of the days of the year. So is there some sort of time loop or some sort of thing that he's hinting at? We know the heavens will roll up like a scroll. We know that Revelation 12 kind of gives us this inference, Revelation 12 and Revelation and the sixth seal having that in common. Okay, that there's this outside of time reference. A lot of it comes back to the word, or I'm sorry, the number 88, which you'll see later on in this study. Okay, so let the stars go dark. Let it also be the sea light. He wishes he would never been born and that he died in the womb. Okay, so he is cursed this day up and down. But he also asks the question, is light and life given to those who long for death and do not find it? But how long for death to take their anguish? But how they long for death to take their anguish. And then he says this. He says they dig it. They dig it. He says they dig for it more than hidden treasure, death. So they're seeking this death. They're obviously this poetic lingo is saying that these people who long for death. He's given a man child reference. He's given kind of a servant of God, the servants of God reference. And I know if we put them on a scale, the trials that we've all been through, they're very harsh. Some go through physical trials, some have been through spiritual trials, some both. And it is. I've had dealings with this exact same paragraph right here with the Lord in my private time. It's been a very, very long, difficult journey. Okay. But he says that question is light and life given to those who long for death and do not find it. They look for death more than they seek the hidden treasure. Okay. So again, this ties back to all these encompassing verses and metaphors that reference this man-child, the woman, the bride, all of this. Okay, the field, everything. So in Matthew it says, "You are the light of the world, a city set that cannot be hidden." Okay, so when they are the light for the world, they're going to be this city, Jerusalem. Okay, New Jerusalem, that cannot be hidden. All right. Light, city, bride, treasure, hidden, birthing a kingdom. That's my addition to it. Okay. So let us reason together for a moment. And some of this is going to be spoken in general terms. I know this doesn't apply to every single person in the world, but let me speak somewhat of opinion here. Here on earth, obviously, it's not where we're from. The Bible tells us that we are not of this place. We are not of here. We did originate in heaven. Okay. We look for a mate in a variety of different places. The sequence usually goes physical attraction, introduction. Hey, I find you interesting. What's your name? Where are you from? Obviously, if we're married, they have rings, whatever. Then it goes into interests, careers, education paths, goals, families. And then we kind of touch on this spiritual compatibility. Do you believe the same beliefs I do? Usually that goes to what? Church, right? Well, I'm Catholic. Well, I'm Lutheran. Well, I'm not really tied to the Catholic Church, so we can go to the Lutheran Church, So it's kind of, this all becomes kind of like on the back stove, so to speak. Kind of like, it's important, but not really right important right now. Family mutuality, and then finally marriage. That's how it goes. It's all backwards. The spiritual should come first. And I'm not saying you walk up to somebody and say, "What church do you go to?" Because I'd like to get with you later on. It's the spiritual. What's the spiritual mean to you? Well, if we're from heaven and not of this earth, and we were spirits, and we are spirit, it should go back to this first. Is there a spiritual connection between people? Is there a spiritual marriage between people? Did God make us spiritually married first? And then all this other stuff comes to follow, or is not even important really at that point. So the Bible tells us here that everything's upside down and backwards. Jesus tells us that there is not marriage in heaven. There is no marriage in heaven, but we are as the angels of heaven. So what does the mystery of this passage really mean? The Sadducees, challenging Jesus, asked him, and I'm paraphrasing here just because of the verse, don't want to take up too much space, but essentially they ask, if a woman is widowed by her husband, she remarries and is widowed again, yet remarries again and is widowed and has children, who is she with in the resurrection when the dead in Christ rise? Remember Job, how he wished he was dead? Right? There's a connection here. This death, this, I wish I was dead. I wish I was not alive. I wish all this be darkness and blackness seizes it and stars go dark and don't want to see the light of day kind of thing, right? It's the exact same thing in the sixth seal in Revelation 12, right? Before the birthing. Anyway, so when the dead in Christ rise, Jesus says this, the children of this world marry and are given in marriage, but they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain the world and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, neither can they die any more, for they are equal to the angels and are the children of God, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses showed at the bush when he called the Lord the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for he is not the God of the dead, but of the living. You got to look at this plainly, okay? There's death, and then there's the living, God of the living. This flesh is temporary. This world is temporary. Everything in this world is temporary. Yes, even marriage is temporary. But at the resurrection from the dead, they neither marry or given in marriage, neither can they die anymore, for they are equal to the angels and are the children of God. There's a lot of things you need to look up. Children of God. Who are the children of God? Romans 8. Equal unto the angels. Being children of the resurrection. He's not the God of the dead, but of the living. Right? I'm not saying that marriage is wrong here. Okay? It's a reflection of what is supposed to have taken place in heaven. Okay? It's an image of what we're supposed to be. But in this world, even if you are in a solid Christian family to where you are doing due diligence and with God first, the marriage is still very difficult. And having kids on top of that is completely difficult because you got schools, you got so many demands coming against this institution. Okay. The children of this world married or are given in marriage. This world. What does he mean? What is it like in his world? So in the world to come after the resurrection of the dead in Christ, they will neither be marry or given in marriage. They're immortal and equal to the angels and the children of God. We know that Satan has a degree of authority in this world. A major part of partaking of this is promiscuity. Birth control is huge business. Abortions are off the charts and are becoming more and more unrestrained, and also have morphed into birth control as well. So here on earth, we can be with whoever we want to be with. There's a choice, really. If you go to a bar, a club, wherever, you find somebody attractive, you talk to them, you go home, you have sex. I mean, really, it's freedom, right? Nothing more to find someone, mutual attraction, physical, go to a place, sleep together. We're unrestrained from really anything to do that we desire to do with a mutual partner. The accountability bill seems to come later on. Your emotions, your mental status, what you've done, all that seems to come later. That's the result of the sin. Okay? Oh, it's fun for a while, probably, right? But then everything else starts to settle in. All these things. Pregnancy, soul ties. The partner can become aggressive, stalking, physical abuse, drugs, alcohol. Make it even more of a big problem. My question to you would be this. We all know Satan caused a third of the angels to fall with him. If you've listened and studied, then you know we have to make a final decision here on the earth. With who God really is, do we serve? But we should also know sin originated in heaven and that it was pride. Satan proclaimed he could do better and be like the Most High. Do you think it's at least possible that part of his lie package, and I call it a lie package because there's so many different things you could look at Hollywood, okay? Get off a chart here for a second. You can look at Hollywood and see what the lie package is. You'll be beautiful. You'll be able to be with who you want. You can drink. You can party. You can have fun. You won't have to be, in here in heaven. This lie package that he came up with to put these people and pull these people down to the earth. I believe part of it was proposed that under his leadership, you can be with anyone you want to, have sex with whoever you want to, not have to be loyal to anybody, not have to be loyal to the partner Father made with you for you. And that implies we were made in pairs and tied to one partner for eternity. It's modeled completely after Jesus. Jesus the male, the church the female. Adam the male, Eve the female. Eve was taken out of the side of Adam, and they shared the same DNA. The perfect church. Bride sitting on a hill. It's also taken from Jesus. This is exactly why Jesus was pierced in the side when he was crucified. That was Satan's attack on the church. Blood and water poured out of him, the breath of life and the living water. Jesus paid for the field, paid for the earth. With all he had, his life, he gave up his life and bought the earth. Paid for it and bought it. He purchased the bride, the hidden treasure, the church, in the earth. Therefore, this is why he's allowed to open the deed to the earth and loose the seals thereof. Look at Jeremiah 32. Jeremiah 32, we'll go there real quick. Right here, all right, Jeremiah buys a field. I took the sealed deed from purchase containing the terms, conditions, and the open copy, gave the deed of purchase to Baruch, son of Neriah, son of Maaseiah, in the presence of Hamnel, my cousin, in the presence of the witness who signed the deed of purchase, in the presence of all the Judeans who were sitting at the court of the guard. Take these deeds, both sealed deed of the purchase and this open deed, and put them in earthen vessel that they may last for a long time. So this goes on. You can read this paragraph, but essentially he's buying this field, and it's exactly what we see in Revelation, the sealed scroll. It's the deed for the earth. He bought the field. So the name Solomon, to make whole or complete. Okay. The general meaning, grateful verb, shalem, is wholeness, completeness, or unbrokenness. Complete opposite of ra, which is separation, I would have you look this up and get the complete meaning. So yeah, I want you to look at this. So this is Ra. If you get the idea of what I'm saying, then this is going to make sense to you. Meaning the literal breaking of something and a sense of brokenness by God due to sin. Okay? So just like we just talked about in heaven, right? We all had to come here. We're all separated from the person we were designed to be with. And a sense of brokenness by God due to sin. Brokenness, essence of evil, brokenness in existence of space between elements that are designed to be firmly connected. That is huge. Because soulmates are designed to be firmly connected. This existence of space has separated them. It's a broken kingdom that God is restoring back to its original state. There's probably a ton of other neat things in here, but this document will be in the drive for you to look at. Okay, back to Solomon. So we have the separation, uncut stones of the altar. We talked about the stones and the entirety of the population. Whole hearts devoted to the Lord. Some kind of restitutory payment or covenant. Vows are paid to the Most High or when days of mourning to be completed. Peace, a state of completeness or harmony, peace offering or sacrifice, perfect, whole, complete, and safe. Reward or bribe, reward meaning reward. Behold, I come quickly, my reward is with me to give to every man according to his work shall be. So what did Jesus do? He came and did his work. He paid the price. It's the same thing here that's reflected in to his people that are working the labors in the field. Dues paid for work, a wage for hire, reward, fruit, naturally resulting from toils or endeavors, reward or wages, paid for service, to make whole or complete, wholeness, completeness, and peace. So not many people know, but Solomon was not his original name, okay? His original name was Jedediah, and it's only mentioned once in the Bible, and it's listed here in 12:24, 2 Samuel. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went unto her and lay with her, and she bare a son. She called his name Solomon, and the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah because of the Lord. Two combination of two elements. Second element is the name Jedediah, which is commonly abbreviated form of Jesus or Yahweh, the name of the Lord. The first element comes from the verb yadad, which means to love. A love song, beloved one, meaning love. Also has to do with fondling of a woman, a love of a woman. So what's interesting, as I looked at this, Shulamite is referred to as the woman in Song of Psalms. Now, Shulamite means pretty much the same thing as Solomon, to make restitution, whole or complete, restore, and reward. So they're each other's reward. They're each other's completeness and restoration. I thought this was interesting. Shulamite is most likely called a Shulamite because she came from an unidentified place called Shulam. Many scholars believe that Shulamite to be synonymous with Shunammite, a person from Shunem, which was a village in the territory of Ishtar, north of Jezreel. It's not in the Bible, but other scholars link this name to believing that she was a bride from Jerusalem, which I kind of found plausible because look at everything that we're looking at here as far as a bride. New City, Jerusalem, Zion, all those things. So it only makes sense that This is something that required some digging into, that God didn't just put it out there that she was from Jerusalem. He nestled it into a word that we'd have to look up to make whole or complete. That's Shulamite in a nutshell. Righteous recompense or proper restitution, completeness, wholeness, and peace. Reward to, or prosper recompense. So Solomon and Shulamite mean the same thing. They're each other's reward. They're each other's completeness. They're each other's restitution. He's the king of Jerusalem, and that is his bride. They complete and complement each other. So going back to what we looked at earlier, here on earth, the attraction of the opposite sex comes first, in broad terms again. What we see, what we want to wake up to and see every day. We want their good genes to pass on to our children. What is their education? What do they do for a living? Family, do they have any? What are their goals? Personality? All these things that we're placing into our own hands. We're judging, not judging really, but we're generally sometimes, and I say this again in broad terms for Christians, not all Christians, but we're putting all this in our own mind, in our own hands, trying to find somebody. And some of it does work well. Marriages do last, and marriages are important. And they show loyalty, they show commitment, they show, your gratitude towards the Lord. They do. I'm not downplaying marriage. But what I'm saying here is we're not of this world. This is not our home. Now more than ever. If you look outside and see what's going on, this is not our home. You should be able to see that right off the bat. It never was. This was not meant to be home. This was the proving ground. Jesus tells us again, like the angels in heaven, the Oracle video tells us he made us from the beginning, male and female. We're not intended to be alone. Okay? God made us in pairs in the Holy of Holies. I think I've proven that. And if not, by the end of this video, I think I have. The Lord states in Genesis that it's not good for man to be alone. He made a helpmeet for him so that he would no longer be alone. Eve was made for him, by him, from him, just as the church was for Jesus. So you see this familiar passage here, my sister, my spouse, in Song of Psalms. After I had the oracle dream and the subsequent confirmations from it, I understood that this actually meant, but had not communicated it completely in the video. I recently looked at this phrase again, and now I see it confirms what I knew about the Lord and how he made us in pairs. So one thing I've learned in my studies is when you click on these words in this program, they take you to these purple other links that you can go to see like where the word came from, other uses for it, or follow-on words. And as I kind of dug into my sister, I was really shocked with what I saw. It just keeps going and keeps exploiting what I've already known. I couldn't believe it. So as I clicked on my sister, you get this. Pretty much what you would think. A sister, half-sister, relative, metaphor. Israel and Judah's relationship. Beloved, a bride. Intimate connection. Sister, together. Okay, and then you start to click on these other words, like this is 251, which is referenced here. In the widest sense, literal relationship and metaphorical infinity or resembles the like. Another brother, a kindred. Also compared the names from beginning. Let's see here. Kindred, like another. Each to the other reciprocal in relationship and resemblance. Do you think Adam and Eve resembled each other if they shared the same DNA? I think they did. Again, you click on this one, 250, which is right here, and it takes you to this. Ezrachite, or Ezrite. and it means a native, as rising out of the soil. Keep that in the back of your mind, as rising out of the soil. From the family of Zerach, which kind of sounds like Zerah, which is seed, okay, which comes out of the soil. I thought that was interesting. So something planted in the soil, breaking forth, coming out of the soil, arising out of the soil. So Zerach, or, maybe tied to Zerah, which connected me 2246 to cherished. And it keeps going. And then if you go from here, 2245 means to hide, hidden. And that comes back over here. So one word over to 2244, haba, to hide oneself, to be forced into hiding, to hide, or to be hidden. It goes completely back to what we just talked about. This word, sister, when you start to peel back the onion, I don't really want to use, but when you start to dig and you start to look at this word and the parallels of this word, to be hidden, I mean, that's remarkable. A few clicks took us to that. The word Ezrite, again, means to break or rise or break out, and is tied to Psalms 88. Now, if you go to Psalms 88, 88 is obviously a big number in the community that we have here. But it's all kind of reminds me of Joel and what he talked about. I cry out day and night before you. Let my prayer come before you. Incline your ear. Hear my cry. My soul is filled with trouble. My life draws near to hell, or Sheol. I'm counted among those who go down in the pit. I'm a man who has no strength. I am set loose among the dead, slain. I am like the slain that lie in the grave. All right? In the grave. So what does that... Remember what we just talked about, to rise and break forth, right? We just said to come up and rise and shine, to arise, to break out. So he's in this mess, and he's calling out to the Lord. And this is the whole flavor of this psalm. I am shut in, so I cannot escape. My eye grows dim through sorrow. Every day I call upon you, O Lord. I spread out my hands to you. Do you work wonders for the dead? So we have the Job connection here. We have a seed planted in dirt or darkness planted here. And he is crying out to the Lord. It's a Revelation 6 or 6 seal / Revelation 12 moment. He's just in this terror. But in 89, it automatically changes. I will sing of the steadfast love of the Lord forever. With my mouth I will make known your faithfulness to all generations. Steadfast love will be built up forever. In the heavens you establish your faithfulness. I have made my covenant with my chosen one. I have sworn to David my servant. I will establish your offspring forever. I will build your throne for all generations. Let your praise come. Let the heavens praise your wonders, O Lord, your faithfulness in assembly. So, it's written, I think, by the same guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Herman Ezrite and Ethan. So anyway, I thought that was interesting to at least add into it. So we have rising, a bliss of a person's life, the glory of the Lord, dawning or shining, used only once in Isaiah 60 verse 3. Arise and shine, for your light is come. Let the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, just like Job, right? Job chapter 3. Gross darkness the people, and the Lord will rise upon thee. His glory shall be seen upon thee. Gentiles will come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your coming. So it all connects. All connects. So my spouse, 3634, a bride, perfect, son's wife, bride, daughter, spouse. Pretty self-explanatory. From 3634. 3634, perfected, made perfect, to complete, perfect, and make complete. Make perfect. To finish, to set up. Set up or make up, finish, variant, to finish, complete. To be completed. In those days the king shall the God of heaven, set up a kingdom made perfect. To set up, completed, right here. Set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break into pieces and consume all these kingdoms and shall stand forever. Completed. So here we go. It was but a little I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house, into the chamber of her that conceived me. Okay? This is the oracle. So creation happens in the chamber. It's where conception occurs. It's where the Lord speaks things into existence. Chamber, innermost, parlor, the bed, inner chamber, inward parts, innermost parts. It's the womb, okay? It's the womb. If you go to 23:14, which is this number right here, from 23:14 means to encompass, surround, and enclose, okay? When we look at the word chamber used here in this verse, there are several connections through Strong's Coordinates for further study. I placed the two main ones here, but I'll elaborate. Okay. She is speaking metaphorically. The Father creates and makes us. As I understand, he speaks into existence. Genesis 1. The oracle or Holy of Holies mirrored on earth through the temple reflects what is actually in heaven. So if you go to chamber in Song of Songs and you click on all these little purple links that connect it, some are Greek, this one's Hebrew, this is what you get. Chamber in Song of Songs, encompass, enclose, surround, innermost, chamber within, to announce, to proclaim, preach, companion in labor, fellow, helper, union, together, companionship, possession, reward, resemblance, and completeness. What does Jesus tell us? For the Lord has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Chamber. I hope you don't hear my stomach growling. I'm sorry. Compass a man. Surround, revolve. Border. Figuratively as follows: bring, cast, fetch, lead, make, walk, roundabout, besiege, carry, change, every side beset, compass, roundabout, enclose, oracle, innermost chamber, innermost room, the temple, most holy place, holy of holies, sanctuary. Okay, that comes from 1996. 1696. 1696, words, to speak. Could be destructive in sense: to subdue, answer, appoint, bid, command, commune, declare, destroy, give name, promise, pronounce, rehearse. To speak, to promise, to be spoken. The chamber's where the bed is, the bedroom. It's where conception takes place. I think one of these talks about bed, if I can find it. I think it's up here. Bed, inner court, chamber. It's where conception takes place. Early we identified the word as right from my sister, my spouse. This was from H250. To spring forth, arising out of the soil. Adam was made from soil. Eve came forth from God from Adam. She came out of his soil, just as the church. Ezraite, a native arising out of the soil, from the family Zerach. Remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. It shall now spring forth. Shall you not know? It's going to spring forth, arising out of the soil. Spring forth. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. These people I have formed for myself, and they shall show forth my praise. What was Psalm 89 about praise? No, it said it. Yeah, let the heavens praise your wonders, O Lord, your faithfulness in the assembly of your holy ones. So I hope you guys enjoyed this study. There's a lot of places you can go off on, I won't say tangents, but that can spin off from the study, and I hope you do so. God bless you guys. Thank you. Have a great day.